Economics is often described as a science, but not in the same way as physics, chemistry, or biology. In this video, we are focusing on one precise but very important part of the AQA specification: the similarities and differences between economic methodology and the methodology of natural and other sciences. This topic appears early in the course, but it underpins evaluation across every essay you will ever write. If you understand this properly, you gain an automatic edge in analysis and evaluation, exactly what A students do. Before comparing economics to other sciences, we need to be clear on what methodology actually means. Methodology refers to how a subject builds knowledge. That includes how theories are developed, how assumptions are used, how evidence is collected, and how conclusions are tested and refined. Economics, natural sciences, and other social sciences all aim to explain the world. But they do so in different ways, because they study different types of phenomena. AQA explicitly wants you to understand how thinking like an economist differs from thinking like a natural scientist. This is not about memorizing definitions. It's about recognizing the strengths of economics as a science and its limitations compared to natural sciences. Top band answers compare, contrast, and evaluate, not just describe. Say, the first key similarity is that both economics and natural sciences use models. In physics, models might describe motion or forces. In economics, models might explain demand and supply, inflation, or unemployment. In both cases, models simplify reality. They isolate key variables, and they allow economists and scientists to make predictions. This is important. Simplification is not a weakness. It is necessary. Both economics and natural sciences follow a broadly similar logical process. A hypothesis is proposed, predictions are made. Evidence is used to test those predictions. For example, an economist might predict that a rise in interest rates reduces consumer spending. A scientist might predict that increasing temperature increases reaction speed. In both cases, theories are tested using evidence, not just opinion. Both economics and natural sciences rely heavily on quantitative data. Economists use GDP data, inflation rates, unemployment figures. Scientists use measurements, experimental results, numerical observations. In both subjects, statistical analysis is used to identify relationships and trends. The most important difference is the ability to conduct controlled experiments. In natural sciences, variables can be isolated. Experiments can be repeated. Conditions can be controlled. In economics, this is usually not possible. You cannot ethically or practically control an entire economy, repeat history under identical conditions, isolate one variable without others changing. This makes economic conclusions less certain than scientific laws. Another crucial difference is that economics studies human behaviour. Unlike atoms or chemicals, humans change their behaviour, learn from past experiences, react emotionally, are influenced by culture, politics, and morality. This makes economic outcomes less predictable than outcomes in natural sciences. This is why economic models often work in theory, but less perfectly in reality. Economics relies heavily on assumptions. Common assumptions include: consumers are rational, firms aim to maximize profit, individuals act in their own self-interest. Natural sciences also use assumptions, but economic assumptions are often more controversial because they oversimplify complex human behavior. They may not hold true in all situations. This weakens the predictive power of economic models. Natural sciences aim to be value-free. Economics, however, often involves value judgments, especially when recommending government policy, assessing fairness, evaluating inequality. For example, whether income inequality is acceptable, whether government intervention is desirable. This makes economics less objective than natural sciences. So is economics a science? The most accurate answer, and the one examiners love, is economics is a social science with scientific characteristics, but important limitations. It uses models, data, hypotheses, logical reasoning, but it is constrained by human behavior, lack of controlled experiments, value judgments, In exams, high-level evaluation might sound like this. While economics shares methodological similarities with natural sciences, the inability to conduct controlled experiments and the influence of human behaviour reduce the reliability and predictive accuracy of economic models. That sentence alone is top banned. To summarise, economics shares key methodological features with natural sciences. However, it differs significantly due to human behaviour, assumptions, and value judgments. As a result, economics is best described as a social science, not an exact science. If you can explain this clearly and evaluate it confidently, you are writing at A level.